Welcome everyone. Today I have a new AIC guide video for Arknights Endfield. In this video, we're looking into a number of ways to find your customized AIC blueprints on various tools and also different websites. There's thousands and also tens of thousands of those available, and in the first part, I want to teach you guys where you can be finding them officially on the Discord, and there are a number of tools that you can be filtering them according to your region, according to the type of the blueprints you wanted. So this way, because we cannot transfer Asia and also NA blueprints, this way you can be finding blueprints that you wanted and you needed depending on the situation and also depending on how things works. And to follow up on this, I want to briefly go about what are the endgame goals of production capacity in different regions, including value for, and what are the battery usage, what are the additional items you could be producing, and what should you be aiming for in terms of those output materials. And I also go through Wuling, which is more subject to the personalization of the players. Because you only have 60 X-Rite produced per minute, this can be used to produce batteries, components, or other materials that is available. I'll be talking about this on the second part. So coming over to the first part, something you might have known, or if you did not know, there is the official Discord for Arknights Endfield. And coming from this, there is a blueprint sharing event. Now this event has been ongoing for 1 to 2 weeks now, and some of my viewers were recommending to have a look at this particular event because this actually helped them to find the customized blueprint they wanted. Once you come over to this particular section, and I'll have the invitational link available for you guys to have a look, you can then select the regions that you want to be looking for those blueprints. If you're Asia, China, or Japan, go for the Asian set, and if you're from Europe or Americas, go for this particular blueprint, and then you can customize to search for things that you wanted. For example, if I want a battery and I want a particular type of battery, let's say HC Valley battery, by searching for this, and then I can say it can be in any area or it can be in Wuling. It really depends on the player situation. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the battery, and this will take me to a page where the person who posted the blueprint will share the capacity, share the usage usually, and also share the code for the battery. And you can also see a brief size of the battery. Now notice that this is not a popular discussional blueprint because no one has been chatting over here. But on the other hand, if I go for a more popular one, let's say if I just go for any of those, take away value for, take away Asia, and you can see there are some of those where players has been actively discussing and people can ask questions right under the blueprint. For example, what are the pipelines, what are the things that's not working? So this is a great way for you to find customized blueprints and also ask for discussions or help related to the blueprints that is available. Now I know there may be a lot to go through, so you do have to learn how to change the blueprints and how to change the regions, but that should be quite easy. So if Discord is not your thing, there are also 2 additional unofficial tools or website that is also running additional blueprints. The first one we have over here is Arknights.gg, and here similarly you can select the output materials you're looking for. Let's say if I want to be making steel bottles and I want to be making this one in value 4, and then I can be searching for different tiers of course, and I can be searching for America. And once I search for this, notice there's a number of different sizes and also proportions for the blueprints I'm looking for. Sometimes it might not have the exact ones I wanted, sometimes you have something else, but it really depends on how are you searching and also how are you filtering. Again, once you click into this will allow you to copy paste the blueprint for your usage. And you can see in the description about what are the producers and what is required for this particular blueprint. This is also the case coming over to Endfield tools. So this is another third-party website and also tools for Arknights Endfield with a lot of good things. Firstly, we can click onto blueprints, or we can start filter those for Asia, for America, and then you can filter for the type of blueprints you wanted. Again, this will take a little time to understand, but once you understand, you can then click into it, and this will tell you what is being produced. And you can see the codes available to be copy-paste over here. Now, because the highlights and so summaries over here shows you what is needed and what are the power usage, it is important to read the notes and also understand what is happening before you import the blueprints. Otherwise, your power usage and also raw materials might not be enough. So this is more like a DIY proportion. So 3 different ways to find customized blueprints according to what you need. And now let's have a look at what do you need for the endgame. So briefly talk about endgame for both regions first, and then if you're in any stage of the mid game or early game, we'll talk about what are the great blueprints for those regions and also for those stage of the game. So for Valley 4, personally, I am here in Valley 4. I want to show you guys the summaries over here. You can see I've depleted my origin ores, I'm depleting my reserve for variant ores, but that is okay if you have seen our previous video. And you can see the production and also production over here, it is 19 and also 18. I have been min-maxing this a little bit so you can see less usage, more production. But generally, if you haven't been following our detailed Valley 4 guide, you might not achieve 19 and also 18. So I would like to say that usually it runs between 18 to 19, but on average it is at least 18 for the battery, for the HC battery I'm producing. And for the back pills A, I'm producing 18 of them pretty consistently. The goal for most in-game blueprint for Valley 4, it is 18 plus 18. So both of the ingredients, the batteries and also the back capsule, should be producing at least 18 of them. To follow from that, your next goal is to aim to minimize the battery usage of the power capacity needed for this particular region. So this region, I'm using 5,700 watts of battery, and you can see over here. So maximum is 5,700, we have 5,600. But if you look at my battery usage, if I can show you guys over here, my battery usage at the moment is 7. Usually it goes up to 7 or 8, but this is the battery usage per minute. So you want to aim for a maximum usage of 7 to 8 HC Valley batteries per minute, and this way the less you use per minute, the more you save up per minute, and this actually works wonderfully into my next part when I go to Wuling to use those batteries for Wuling as well. So here are the in-game goals for Valley 4. Now optionally, because we have so many ethicist ores that is not really used, so you can see here I have 80,000 of those. It's always a surplus because I'm not using those much, and it is optional to spend those ores to produce any materials that can kind of take advantage of using them. But importantly, one of the reasons I did not use those ores is that I want to keep my power usage to the minimum. So I don't want to break this particular breakpoint and then having to spend another battery per minute because I'm going over 5,700. So this is an option for players, but it's more important to keep the battery usage low while maximizing your end game goals for the Valley 4 section. Now, what about the early game for Valley 4? There are 3 things or 4 things you want to look for the early game. One of the exploration items is industrial explosives. So if I go over here, if I can search for explosives, I cannot type. Did I type correctly? No, I did not type correctly. I'm just going to copy paste this explosive. Sometimes I can't type. And I'm going to search here. So early game explosives, you want to grab a copy of the thing. And here you can see that Americans, I'm actually going to import one of those to our summary. So we have both the NA and also American explosives. So here are the 4 most important early game ones. You want a self-sustained plant farm to get any of the plants you needed to go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 80,000 of those. You want to be making bug capsules, and the bug capsules is important because that's how you start your early game productions and also stock builds. And finally, you want to be able to make LC batteries and also the basic SC batteries, and those are the most important early game ones. We have those available, but you can also search for those manually like I just showed you guys over here. And that's before you get the Valley 4, I guess, end game started. We do have a step-by-step guide to show you guys how to get to my current stage as well. So, and I think the rest of the part, we come over to Wuling. Again, we have a guide to teach you guys step-by-step how to achieve the Wuling production. I'm gonna fly over to Wuling, and while the game is loading, I will be, wrong click of the button. Always got messed up with the UI, so I was like, well, I'm clicking. So let's come over to Wuling, and let's briefly go through what is my current production and also in-game goal for Wuling. While the game is loading, I have captured a screenshot, but this is not a realistic representation of how much you should be getting on average in Wuling. you can see there's a huge spike of extract component because I decided to make more of those for my new character to come. And you can see the LC Wuling battery is fluctuating between 11 and also 0. Probably easier if I come over to the actual game to show you guys what's happening, but I do want to be open to you guys why the materials has changed and what's happening. So the LC Wuling battery is fluctuating between 10 and also 11, and I'm actually producing a lot of extract components per minute. This is not a natural production capacity. Usually, what you're looking for is you're looking for 9 to 12 LC Wuling battery produced, and then about 0 or 1 or 3 extract component produced. Because both of those items consumes extract per minute, and we only make 60 extract per minute, so this is the hard cap for Wuling production line. Now, one of the reasons I'm overproducing is because during the past few days, I have been testing a method to save up some extract component. So here, notice I've saved up 28,000 extract component, which I'll explain my adjustment very soon. So this is why I can enjoy a very strong production for a few hours or even for 1 or 2 days if I do this correctly. So you can see 12 and also 3. But the consumption of extract component is pretty high. And this is only temporary, so keep that in mind. So 60 and also 75 consumption. So this is based on the fact I was able to store up a lot of those, and I'll explain very soon. But normally, if you guys are going for in-game for Wuling, any balanced combination of LC Wuling batteries and also extract component that achieve a 60 maximal output and also usage for extract, that is good enough. So to follow from this, I'm also producing the Yanzi syringes and also the Jingyao drinks, and those, as I'm gonna show you guys over here, fluctuates between 1 and also 2. So I'm making 2 per minute, 1 per minute. It goes up and down. It's usually 1 and 2 per minute. The reason we're producing those drinks because we have 90 spare ferroals that can be mined on the side of Wuling. So the ores are over. A bit of scrolling. So the odds over here, you can see we make 90 per minute. We want to take advantage of those 90 per minute and turn those into bottles, and using the plants, we can be making those particular side products that doesn't consume as much. At the same time, my goal for the Wuling section is to minimize power usage again. You can see currently I have power of 3,500. I'm using 3,000 power, but sometimes I can peak to 3,400 power. And this allows me to only use 2 or 3 batteries per minute. You might have noticed that over here, I am having 0 battery usage per minute. And here we're spending about 3 to 6 Valley HC battery per minute. So in my previous video, I talked about transferring the batteries from the Valley 4 section because we have a huge surplus of items over here. And I have been minimizing the HC battery usage. So over here, my goal is to transfer those batteries onto Wuling, and I have been doing this and talk about it in my previous videos, so we don't have to cover it too much. But I also wanted to cover that I have also been transferred manually to test this out, to transfer some materials from Valley 4 production line into the Wuling section. And this is the final part of the update. This is how I was able to achieve 3 and also 12 over here. This is not sustainable, but it can work. So let me go through the actual method. Firstly, I decided to take out the 5-star making facility over here, but that's not a big deal because we're also making it over there. So if you have been following my Wuling guide, I took out the extract component production line over here, and we still kept one HC Valley factory, HC Valley battery factory over here that produces the Valley battery, but that's not a huge deal as well. So if I come over to my site base, I'll show you guys over here. Now, one of the reasons I was able to save some extract is I purposely made the usage of extract per minute 55 instead of 60, and that built up some reserve. And once I was able to build up some reserve, I will actually manually feed through both of the packed aura crust and also feeding through the extract directly into the gearing machine, and this allows me to produce the extract component without using the origin ores. And this is actually happening because I'm getting raw reserve of the packed aura crust directly from Valley 4. Now, the rest of the setup, this particular setup, we're producing the Wuling batteries, and Here, I've actually cleared the setup over here to minimize the expenditure of my origin ores that can provide me with more other output. So let's come over to the battleship. I'll come over to the main base. I'll show you guys what I have been transferring manually. But this is just a practice. I don't recommend you doing this, so I decided to do this at the last part because it will take you some time. And sometimes you don't want to waste too much time doing this manually when everything is run automatically. So in summary, I realized that I can be producing products on the side of Wuling and then transferring those products through the stash system in the ship. And this allows me to kind of preserve a lot of origin ores in that sense. So looking over here, we're in Wuling, and I have been transferring the batteries directly from Valley 4, and now I'm transferring directly the packed ore crust. So what I do over here is I'll actually first stash all my items that I kind of don't need. I actually took away something, so it's kind of full. So I'll stash away all the items we don't need, holding onto Alt so it goes away. And here, those things are maxed out, so I'm just going to throw them on the ground. We have 35, and I'm going to go to Valley 4. So in the past, I talked about transferring the batteries. You basically click this and shift click, control click, and all the battery comes. But at the moment, I'm actually manually transferring the ore crust from Valley 4 into Wuling. Now, this is not the fastest way, and this is not very practical if you do this all the time. So on average, I was transferring about 5,000 to about 10,000 every minute, and I can do this for 5 minutes, and I'm done for the day. So you might be saying, why you do this manually? It's because the material that's used to do the origin ores is very scarce in Wuling, and it's used in so many components. I'm actually taking advantage of the spare resource production lines I have on Valley 4 and making those crusts and then transferring to Wuling. So yes, I do this repetitively for about a minute or two, and this is how I got to 40,000 in Wuling. I don't produce those materials here, but I'm producing those on Valley 4. Again, not recommended if you don't like to do this manually and min and max, because again, this will take you some time. So I'm gonna finish this and we're gonna run about how to, I guess, sort these things out. So one of the reasons I was able to do this is because if you notice, we have a lot of spare space in our current site bases. So if I come over to the actual blueprints we're looking for, and let's see if we can find a crust. I can't find a crust here. So people are not sharing crust, are they? People don't share their semi-finished materials. So let me just show you guys my current blueprint and how that is working. Does people share crust over here? Let's have a look over here. Crust. Oh yeah, packed crust. Yeah, this is one of those. So the basic production is that you can be using this one to get packed ore crust. And that's what I'm doing. So notice how we have a spare little side on the side for each of the side base, and one of them I have been using to produce Wuling batteries. But on the side, I have been producing packed ore crust, oh gosh, there's so many here, packed ore crust. So this is how I can produce additional materials I want to transfer onto the Wuling section. And simply by setting the automatic output, this particular machine will then produce the item I wanted, which will be, where is it? This one. So yes, I am producing this one on the Valley 4 side and then manually transfer to Wuling. Now, why don't I transfer it directly over here with regional transfer? And yes, if you guys are not doing mega transfer, you should be doing mega transfer for origin ores. That is by far the most beneficial transfer. So why am I not transferring this automatically? Is because if I were to transfer this, it's only transfer 750. But if I was to transfer the ores, every hour we get 1,500 for free by selecting the mega transfer method after development level 12. So this is produced on the side, and notice once this gets produced, I transfer them over, and that's how I can save more materials on the other side. So finally, to finish the video, this is how you can take advantage of any custom-made blueprints and then use that blueprint to your advantage. So this way you can be kind of min and max a little further, but again, not recommended for you guys to To follow exactly my manual transfer method, I think the battery transfer is okay because I'm doing like a minute a day. I'm transferring like 2,000, 3,000 batteries a day, but that's it. But for the material transfer, it gets a little overhead. But that should help you to understand where you can be finding tons of the blueprints, including on the Discord channel and then on the other website tools, and then what you should be looking for the endgame. Because sometimes you might not follow my blueprint exactly, you might be following someone else's. But once you know the endgame goal, you can start to minimize and also maximize and understand those yourself to adjust this for yourself to your liking for the endgame of the AIC factories. And yes, guys, before I finish, I will also attach any adjustment like the explosives over here. We saw that we can simply input the explosive. I'll be updating the NI version for you guys over here. And if you guys wanted to have this particular production line for the Oracross, I'll share my Asian version of the code. And then I'll also copy paste this particular code for you guys to look into to produce the Oracross, pack Oracross, if you want to do the tedious manual transfers. Now you guys might have noticed we have some members only videos that is aimed for members early access. Those videos will also become available publicly for free as I post them daily and as a schedule for them. But for those of you who want to have access to those videos a little earlier, you can see those videos available if you do become a member. Now again guys, membership will cost money and this is a great way to support me financially as I make more videos, as more guides to the gacha games we love and also to more information and also more news update. And again, thank you for all the members that has been supporting me, and for those of you who want to support me just by watching the videos and also leaving a nice comment, that is okay as well. All of the members only videos you can see over here will also become free once I schedule to post them each of the days as they become available. So also stay tuned for those videos and you can see over here to see if there's any new ones. Can have a look at the public ones, and also the members only videos is available over here for those of you who want to see it a little early ahead of the time.